Anybody has a question, comment, challenge, stop, start? I would tell them back in my consulting business, I always had this stop, start, continue. You got anything you want us to stop doing, start doing, or continue doing? Jay?
One, congratulations on the great year. Really a great turnaround for the state of North Carolina. But there's one issue, specifically in Mecklenburg, that pretty much devastated tens of thousands of lives, and that's this property tax reval. I know you know the details. This was done illegally. They did not hold to their own procedures. The county right now is trying to drag people that are trying to get an oversight redone. The longer this goes on, the longer it's just going to be forgotten. Is there any intention by the General Assembly to step in and rescue the citizens of Mecklenburg against this predatory local government?
Well, there's two pieces to this. One thing, you're talking to somebody who was a victim of the reval process, so I completely. First, there are two. We have to look at it in two different phases, Jay. Because one thing I'm absolutely certain we can do. The other thing I'm trying to figure out if there is any legal recourse that the legislature can be involved in. Let me talk about going forward. The revaluation process, the appeal process, the whole thing that you're confronted with when they send that new tax bill to you has to be made fair and more transparent. The methodology that you use for the revaluation, being able to question the details, all these sorts of mechanical things that if you were in a real estate transaction you'd have due process, you don't here. And then if you're like me, you had a couple properties that had gone up, but not enough to justify spending thousands of dollars in legal fees to try and prevail in a process that you're likely to lose anyway. So we are next year intending to implement changes in the reval methodology that would not only apply to Mecklenburg County, but to any other county going forward, because we really do think it's stacked against the property owners. That's a given. In fact, I've got Bill Brawley, Representative Brawley is one of the people from Mecklenburg County that will be working on that. The last meeting I had on this was yesterday with a citizen up in Cornelius, Bob Deaton, who's brought another piece to light that has to do with the professional standards that he asserts that could be a basis for the other half of your question. What could be done about the outcome with this last evaluation? There's little that we can do from a legislative standpoint. As I've had it explained to me, and I've had general counsel look into it, spend a fair amount of time in it, there would have to be some sort of legal basis for challenging whether or not the county has violated the rules that are already put into place. So it's not like we can retroactively go back and say we're changing the rules after you've abided by them. So we have to find out whether or not there is actually an opportunity and somebody who has standing would actually have to bring suit. I'm not an attorney, so I'd have to talk with somebody in here who is, but I can't, as a legislator, or as the legislative leader, go in and change the rules after the fact. All we can do is set new rules going forward. But Bob Deaton, as a matter of fact, I was hoping Jeff Tart was going to be here because Jeff has already graciously volunteered to lead this effort. You know, I said, no, I'm serious as a mayor, and you know this. And I'm going to hold him to it. So I've asked him, and I've got to get to Bill Brawley because on Thursday we're trying to have a meeting up in Cornelius. This is John Torr, but I'm just probably going to ask him to call Bill for me. But I'm going to ask them to actually see whether or not there's anything we can do to help them. But what I've been told, Jay, is that it's going to require somebody from the county, somebody who has been damaged by the process, who would have standing, that would actually have to carry it forward. That's going to involve legal costs and lots of other complexities that I don't know that I can help with. And Rob, I don't know if you, or as an attorney, have any other comments on it. But I do think that going forward we can end it. For us, that doesn't help us until the next reval.
What is so frustrating, talking with people that are in a position to know, this was done illegally by the appraisal office in Mecklenburg. They did not follow their own procedures when they did the revaluation. They violated their own codes.
Well, and that was the reason for my meeting yesterday, and I'm saying let's sit down and see if you actually, with an objective third party, have them look at the details and say, is this something that I would like to take to court, that I would be willing to take to court? because at the end of the day, I think that that's the only way that we have any chance of clawing back the decisions that were already that have already been made. But your point's taken, and on any of the meetings that we're going to have, we're probably going to meet up at the Victory Center up in Cornelius. You're welcome to attend and just see the process. I've hosted 3 or 4 meetings in Raleigh with fiscal staff and my legal counsel to figure out what we can do from a legislative standpoint. Any other